Thomas Tuchel, COVID-19 results at lottery for Chelsea ahead of Wolves clash. Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel has described his side's COVID-19 results as at lottery ahead of their clash against Wolves on Sunday afternoon. The Blues were hit with new cases ahead of their 1-1 draw against Everton on Thursday night, with the Premier League seeing an increasing number of positive tests across multiple teams. As it stands, the game at the Molineux on Sunday will still go ahead, as things stand, despite the club's new batch of positive results within the last few days. Speaking to the media on Friday ahead of the clash, Tuchel confirmed that the club have not yet had any more positive tests, but highlighted uncertainty over the situation by saying, "The lottery starts tomorrow afternoon." Kai Havertz was unavailable for the game against Everton as he awaited the results of his test, but his fellow German and boss stated that it has returned as negative and he is now back in training. Romelu Lukaku, Timo Werner, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Ben Chilwell all tested positive for COVID-19, with the latter already out on the sidelines as he recovers from the ACL injury he suffered against Juventus. Tuchel's side have already been affected by absentees in recent weeks, as many of their first-team starters have had spells out of the matchday squads with various injuries. Mateo Kovacic was set to return to action after a hamstring injury, but tested positive for COVID-19 and therefore had to spend time in isolation. However, Tuchel confirmed that the Croatian midfielder returned to training on Friday. Romelu Lukaku breaks silence after testing positive for COVID-19. Chelsea striker Romelu Lukaku has broken his silence after recently testing positive for COVID-19. It was revealed on Thursday that the Blues had new cases in their squad, with the Belgian therefore unavailable for selection in their 1-1 draw against Everton that evening. He had been in and out of the team prior to the fixture after being sidelined due to injury, and he now has to face another setback. In a message to his followers on Instagram, Lukaku updated fans on his situation and confirmed that he will now have to spend a period of time in isolation. "A few days ago I tested positive for COVID. I am feeling good now and I am isolation for the next days. I've seen the messages, thank you for that." The Belgian international returned to the Blues during the summer transfer window after spending 7 years away from the club, joining from Inter Milan after winning the Serie A title under the management of former Chelsea boss Antonio Conte. He has made 16 appearances so far this season and has scored 5 goals, with his most recent coming against Zenit in the Champions League last week. Lukaku was out of the matchday squad for the Everton game due to his positive test, which saw Mason Mount's second-half opener ruled out by a Jared Branthwaite equaliser just 4 minutes later. The point sees Chelsea lose pace on Premier League leaders Manchester City as they look to compete for their 6th title. Cesar Azpilicueta reflects on Chelsea's recent form amid COVID-19 concerns. Chelsea captain Cesar Azpilicueta has reflected on his side's poor run of form amid concerns over recent positive COVID-19 tests within the squad. The Blues defender featured in their 1-1 draw against Everton on Thursday night, with the European champions having now only won 2 of their last 6 games in all competitions. Thomas Tuchel's side have been affected by various injuries and the new COVID-19 cases mean more players are unavailable for selection. In an interview, as quoted by the Evening Standard, after the game, Azpilicueta shared his thoughts on the result as his side chased their 6th Premier League title. "At home we have not been good enough in terms of results. We have dropped points, we have conceded a lot of goals. When you want to compete in the Premier League against these 2 teams, who have shown in the last couple of years how consistent they are, you cannot drop these kind of points. You need them to compete, so of course it is a feeling of frustration. But the same way that in October and November when we were top of the league we did not believe we had won already, it makes it more difficult, but there is still a long way to go, and we will compete to try to get as close as possible." The Spanish international also commented on the worries surrounding the rising number of cases in the Premier League, which has seen postponements throughout the week. "It is different after the worry in your head. We follow the protocol. There is nothing that we can do, just go with it. It is not an excuse when we step out at the stadium on the pitch. Premier League clubs try to create a safe environment for everybody. Of course, it is different. Of course, we are all worried because we are part of this society, we are not only football players. But at the end of the day we have to cope with it. As Roma showing interest in loan move for Chelsea's Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Serie A side as Roma are showing interest in a potential move for Chelsea's Ruben Loftus-Cheek, according to reports. The Italian club are managed by former Blues boss José Mourinho and currently sit in sixth in the country's top flight. It is believed they are keen to recruit new players in the January transfer window to bolster their chances for the rest of the season. According to Il Romanista, Roma have been showing increased interest in Loftus-Cheek over the last few days. A move to the Italian capital would see the midfielder reunite with former Blues striker Tammy Abraham, who made a permanent move there in the summer transfer window. The report suggests that the club would be able to afford his wages in a loan deal until the end of the season. As well as this, the 25-year-old style of play and experience would help Mourinho's side throughout the rest of the campaign. Loftus-Cheek has enjoyed a lot of game time at Chelsea so far this season, making 17 appearances in all competitions under Thomas Tuchel. With injuries to the likes of N'Golo Kante and Mateo Kovacic, the Cobham Academy product has heavily featured in the side in recent weeks, with Roma now believed to be eyeing up a move for him next month due to his impressive performances. He featured in the midfield during Chelsea's 1-1 draw against Everton on Thursday night, which saw the Blues lose pace on Premier League leaders Manchester City as they chase their sixth title. Sevilla have opened the door for Chelsea to sign long-term transfer target Jules Kounde during the January transfer window. The Champions League holders pushed hard to sign the France international during the summer window but were unable to agree a fee, despite the framework of a deal with the player having been agreed. Thomas Tuchel is said to be a huge admirer of the 23-year-old and tried to sign the central defender for Paris Saint-Germain while Kounde was still at Bordeaux. According to ESPN, a move for Kounde, who remains keen on testing himself in the Premier League, is more likely to go ahead in the summer, but with Sevilla prepared to reduce their $80 million valuation, a January switch has not been ruled out. Chelsea's ascent to the top of the Premier League was built on a rock-solid defence, but they have been less than watertight in recent weeks and have kept just one clean sheet in their last 7 games in all competitions following last night's 1-1 draw against Everton. Tuchel and Chelsea, meanwhile, have 4 senior defenders set to enter the final 6 months of their respective contracts, with the futures of Cesar Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen, Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger all uncertain. Asked to explain his side's sudden defensive frailty after dropping another 2 points last night, Tuchel said, "I don't know. It's just a fact. Today we were not in the lead at half-time. We could have been in the lead at half-time easy, but we were not. We have to be careful now, myself included, when we point the finger because it happens again. We have a huge chance to sit here after the same game and talk about a 3-0 and how impressive things are when we miss many players. It's a huge possibility because it's just one free kick and we got punished again. If we look back, it seems it happens too often. We need to consider that when looking back you can make mistakes in analyzing and finding patterns that are maybe not there. But you can be sure we will not look away. The dressing room is very disappointed and I'm very disappointed, of course." Wolves boss Bruno Lage praises Chelsea despite recent form. Wolves boss Bruno Lage has praised Chelsea despite their recent dip in form ahead of the two sides' Premier League clash on Sunday. The Blues dropped points at home to Everton on Thursday night in a 1-1 draw, with Mason Mount's second-half opener cancelled out by Jared Branthwaite's equaliser just 4 minutes later. Chelsea's recent poor run has only seen them lose once, but they have now lost pace on Premier League leaders Manchester City in this season's title race. When speaking to the media ahead of Sunday afternoon's match, Lage was full of praise for his opponents as the manager approaches the halfway point in his first season at the club. "These types of teams, they don't have bad moments. They have big players and are one of the best teams in the world. They won the last Champions League, they have a lot of experience, the manager has a lot of experience, he can replace several players because they have a good squad, and they do very well in his system, so they are very hard guys to play against, and they dominate their system. They can play 3-4-3, 3-5-2 and they know how to play in both ways. But for us this is a challenge. That's why, when I had this invitation from Wolves, I didn't think twice. This is the kind of thing you want to compete, these are the teams me and my players want to play against. Every time is a massive challenge. We played Liverpool, after that Manchester City, then we went to Brighton and it was a big challenge against Graham Potter and his players, now come Chelsea, another big challenge for us. It's an opportunity for us. We're at home, with our fans and we want to play our game, with every time having the mentality to try to win the game. Wolves are currently 8th in the Premier League table going into the game at the Molineux, having recently beaten Brighton away from home. Chelsea have only won 2 of their previous 6 games in all competitions, with the narrow victories coming against Watford and Leeds. With injuries and fresh COVID-19 cases, Thomas Tuchel's side have struggled as of late, and with the Blues currently competing in a busy festive period, games are coming thick and fast, with Wolves being another tough test.
That is on Chelsea News today. If you like the video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much. Goodbye and see you by tomorrow news.